Welcome back, you're Brewing with Ben. Today I'm going to take you through a brew session on my new 12-gallon, 3-vessel double batch system. I have my mash tun hot liquor tank and this massive brew kettle. We're going to be brewing a Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale in prep for Christmas. I'm not huge into holiday beers, but I do like IPAs. I think Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale has a real nice flavor with the hops in there, kind of tastes Christmassy, so we're gonna brew that up today. I'm gonna take you through my water additions, which contribute to your mash pH, your overall water profile. And I'm super excited. I finally sprung for a Counterflow chiller, so we're gonna use that today too and see how quickly we can crash this thing. I'm thinking 5-10 minutes based on groundwater, so we'll see how it goes. Here we go. Got my water going. The recipe calls for 11 gallons of mash water. I'm at 13 in my kettle. Usually put a couple extra gallons in here and heat it up just because with the cooler now I can't apply direct heat if my mash temp is low, so I keep a couple extra gallons in case I need to bump up my heat. We're going to get this going off a good hefty flame and turn on my pump to go ahead and circulate that water and get it heated up as quick as possible. See, my grains are at 56 degrees. So we'll plug that into Beersmith and see what I need to get my strike water to. We're going to be mashing at 152 today. Based on calculation, I need to bring my strike water up to 173.2. So this is at 174 right now. I'm going to let it. It's right there, actually just a titch below. We're going to get this transferred over and start mashing here. So I actually just push this on the output of my mash tun and pump it in. My trusty measuring stick, mash tun, hot liquor tank. I need 11 gallons. While this is going, I'm going to go ahead and do my water additions before I forget. So I have 7 grams of gypsum, 6 grams of calcium chloride, 4 grams of Epsom salt, and 2 milliliters of lactic acid. So this is a really, well, I shouldn't say a really light beer, but I have a really soft water profile. So this recipe is 25 pounds of 2-row, pound of Care Pils, and 3.25 pounds of Care 60. So not a lot of dark grains to bump that mash pH down. So I need to hit it with a little bit of lactic acid. I do all my calculations with Palmer's Easy Water calculator. I got a video on that as well for a different recipe. And I do adjust my sparge water as well. We'll do here once we get this going. It's like 30 degrees outside. Yes, I'm rocking flip-flops because that's how I roll. Really, it just makes it nice when I go in the house. I'm not tracking a bunch of dirt and stuff in, and I do just have a single heater for this and a single brew kettle. So basically, as soon as I get my mash going and I know I'm stabilized at my mash temp, I immediately got to get my water going to get it up to sparge temps. Should be getting close. Here we are, 11 gallons. That a good stir. I really like this 70 quart Coleman Extreme. It holds temp extremely well. Extreme. I was trying to do calculations on how large of a cooler I would need, and just seen a lot of reviews on this thing. People were really liking it. Just get one. So we've been mashing for 60 minutes today at 152. I'm gonna start my timer. I found with this thing, need to let it rest about 5 minutes before I take a temp reading to know if I need to make a temp adjustment at all. I'm usually really close or close enough for the beer I'm drinking, so we'll see where this sits in 5 minutes, and then I'll get going on my sparge water. Just breaking into past 4 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and check this. Give it a good stir, make sure there's cold spots in the mash. One 152.2, 153. I know that ain't one, no 157. And we're a little high, we're at 156, so can't always hit it perfect every time, so I'm gonna get some ice and go ahead and bring this down. Alright, so got some ice in here. It's jumping around between 152 and 154, which is going to be good. So we're going to seal this up and let the mash finish out. I'm going to get my sparge water heating. I need 6.35 gallons for my sparge water. This does have a solid half gallon of dead space in the bottom. It is a really big kettle. So I will probably bring this up to about 8.5. There we are. I'm going to go ahead and get my pump on and get this up to temp before we transfer it to my hot liquor tank. I have just under 5 minutes left of my mash. My sparge water is in at 196 right now. I'm going to go ahead and get this set up to go ahead and pump into my hot liquor tank. Ready to go. I'll go ahead and do my water additions for my sparge water. Another 7 grams of gypsum. Set out 6 grams of calcium chloride. You don't necessarily have to adjust your sparge water. Really, you just need the adjustments for your mash pH. But if you're looking for overall water profile, you can either do it all just with your mash, or you can do it separately with your mash and then your sparge water. What I find is if I try to do all of that, so that would have been 14 grams of gypsum and 12 grams of calcium chloride, it's a lot harder to hit my mash pH. It drives it down more. So I split it. Alright, so I got 56 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and get pumping over here. titch over 200 degrees. I need 6.35, so I'll probably put 7 or so in here. And that's really hot. Mash is complete. Not too bad for timing. So let's seal this up, keep it nice and warm. Transfer this over. So I use my pump to do my boil off, and also, use my pump so I'm not having to use like a gravity system or something where I'm having all kinds of hot volumes of water and liquid over my head. There it is. So my spout's on this side, or my petcock's on this side, so I'm going to boil off over here. So I'm ready to boil off. I'm going to open up the output of my mash tun wide open. I'll restrict it out output side of the pump. And I do got to put a block of wood under this side. It's critical you get your every bit of liquid from your first runnings. Like a glove. Start my pump up. You'll see now when I'm just going nice and easy with this. You'll see at first it'll be pretty cloudy. I'm just going to run this until it clears up nice for me. The husks create a natural filter, so get that work nice and clear, and then we'll go ahead and start transferring over to the boil kettle. That looks pretty good right there. Move the output side of this pump over to my boil kettle. Wide open. You can see with the real good boil off, it's nice clear wort coming up. So this is transferring over. I'm doing a batch sparge. The same setup with I could easily do a fly sparge, but a batch sparge is just a time saver. It takes almost an hour to do a good fly sparge. With my mash thickness, I can just drain it, get my first runnings, and then I'm going to add the remainder of this 6.35 gallons to do my second sparge. You can take this as fast as you want off of here. I prefer to just let it go nice and easy to where I'm not trying to suck any grains out. It can just drain down nice and easy and try to get all those fermentable sugars. With the batch sparge, you do lose a little bit of efficiency. I'm at about 70%, maybe even like 69%, but I pitch an extra pound 2-row, and I gain those gravity points back, and it's only $1.09, so that's worth an hour of my time. You can see the grain bed here as it drains off those first runnings. I should have enough volume on my boil kettle, so I'm going to go ahead and get some heat on that. I'm just wrapping up my first runnings. back my pump down just a little bit here. Try to get the last little bit. And I'm going to call that good. Go ahead and do my second sparge. I've already got this all set up. Close this off. I just use gravity on this step. So my first runnings, ideally you want your sparges to be identical. I ended up coming out at 7 gallons, so a little bit higher. I was supposed to end up with 12.7 pre-boil, so 6.35 roughly. We're sitting at 7. That should be it. Need to boil off again. Open the bottom of the mash tun all the way. Boil off. And you see it's really cloudy at first. There we go, it's nice and clear. I'll set that up to go into the kettle. We're supposed to be at 12.7 gallons pre-boil. See there, I'm roughly at about 13 and a half, so a little bit heavy, not an exact science. Still going to be beer. So we're all wrapped up with our second sparge, so finish that up. We ended up about 13.5 gallons roughly. Supposed to be at 12.7 pre-boil. A little bit off, it happens, you know, grain absorption ratios, etc. But it's important to take everything, like if you put that much sparge water in and mash water and that's what you end up getting out, you want to take that so you get all those fermentable sugars out of there. Now I'm just going to move my hoses around so that I can help heat this up a little bit faster. Always remember to shut the bottom valve too. Made that mistake before. Okay, we'll let that go and get it up to boil. Well, this is coming up to boil here. For dry hop additions, I have 2 ounces of Centennial and 2 ounces of Cascade. Since this is going into 2 6-gallon fermenters, I got to split that for 1 ounce and 1 ounce. I like to use my food saver to go ahead and just make myself little dry hop packs. It just kind of cleans things up when I gotta do my dry hop additions. So for each fermenter, it'll get 1 ounce of Cascade and 1 ounce of Centennial. I like using this too. I buy my hops now in much larger quantities, usually 8 ounces or a pound. I just seal them up as I use it. It's get a lot better price that way. Allows me to keep a lot of hops on hand too now. So I ran into situations where I thought I had a hop and I didn't, and had to do a substitution. So keeping stuff around works really well. Just kind of digging my box. We're just coming up on boil here. Go ahead and kill my pump. Shut off my valves. 60-minute edition, 2 ounces of Chinook. We're at 15 minutes. Borflock. 2.5 ounces of Cascade. 2 ounces of Centennial. Got about 4 minutes left on the boil. Getting ready to use my new Counterflow chiller. I need to get some hot water pumped through there to sanitize it. And I also want to go ahead and take a temperature reading of the groundwater and see where I'm at so I can do some calculations. It is going to throw a little bit of a wrench in today. We do have a Whirlpool edition, so I'm not going to be able to see what it takes, start to finish, bringing it from boil all the way down to pitching temps, but we should have a pretty good idea. So here we go. We're just wrapping up boil. Want a little bit more time on this to sanitize it. Like this wort chiller, it's a little bit cheaper than other ones. It's got the tubes on the end so I can actually see that wort's going through it. I also like the fact that I can take the tubes off and clean it easier. My groundwater's right at 58 right now. Be careful with this because I guarantee it's going to go quick. So the optimum temp is really about 170 for a Whirlpool edition. If as quick as it drops, I usually hit about 180 or so, and shut the water off, and I'll see kind of where it's at. I think this is crazy. So I'm ready for my Whirlpool edition. Whirlpool edition today is going to be 2.5 ounces of Cascade and 2 ounces of Centennial. Start the timer for 15 minutes on that. Let it go. I'll get my lid sanitized. And I really like doing a Whirlpool edition for hops. It allows those hop oils to be extracted. It gives you that really good flavor for an IPA. Sometimes if a recipe only calls for flame out hops, I'll still do it as a Whirlpool edition instead. If you don't have a Whirlpool arm in your kettle, you can do it by hand if you'd like. You can still get it down to 170 degrees, pitching your hops and actually just stir it for 15 minutes. Or you could just throw it in there and let it rest for 15 minutes. Go ahead and get ourselves a gravity reading here. So we're at the end of our 15-minute Whirlpool edition. We'll see how long we can get this down to pitching temps. Go ahead and start the timer. Crank it. Clarify. We're at 166 right now, so long this takes with this new Counterflow chiller. Took a gravity reading. Ended up at 1.063. Recipe called for 1.067, so I'm a little bit low. It's important to hit your numbers when you're brewing, especially when you're dealing with larger water volumes, like in this 12-gallon system, and you're pushing volumes between multiple vessels, things of that nature. But if you remember, I had roughly an extra gallon from my runnings in my batch sparge, and that's exactly where I finished post-boil volume. It's supposed to be at 11, and I finished out at 12, so when you plug that into a calculator, I still actually hit my 70% brewhouse efficiency, which is what this rig has been giving me consistently. So, not perfect, but I'll take it. 2940. Just below 70 degrees. Go ahead and kill my pump. I haven't timed my immersion chiller in a while. I would have hoped that would have been a little bit faster, but it's not bad, and I didn't have to use ice water at all like I usually do, so I mean, I'll take it. Alright, I got my fermenter sanitized my oxygen stone. Nice hefty 1056 yeast starter. Get that sanitized up. We're ready to go to the fermenter. Go. Okay, we're all wrapped up. I get to do cleanup now, which is always fun. Today we brewed a Sierra Nevada Celebration Ale clone on my 12-gallon double batch system, start to finish. Did water adjustments, mash, the sparge, did a Whirlpool hop addition, used my new Counterflow chiller into the fermenter, and then wort oxygenation. Hopefully you're able to take something away. Thanks for watching.